everyone, my name is Greg Ellis, and welcome to Redskin Review. This is our second show for the 2014 season. It's being taped on Wednesday, September 5th. Oh, no, September 3rd. Getting a little ahead of myself. And in this show, we're going to look back at the opening week loss in the Crosstown Showdown to Northwest, 19-17, and we'll look ahead to this week's renewed rivalry at home against McNicholas. With me, as always, Dan Albers, Coach Giesting.
Hi. Hey.
Guys, welcome. Coach, that was a great first game. It's competitive, but I'll tell you what, 2 plays, and otherwise we come away with a W.
Yeah, we had some just crucial mistakes, and then we had one where the ball just bounced totally the wrong way for us. But, you know, you practice things, and you practice things, and you practice things some more, and you think that you're prepared and the kids are going to do what you ask them to do, but you know, our kickoff coverage was lacking, and where we wanted to place the kick was not what we wanted. You know, and so finally we squibbed one, and then the thing bounces out from, we had it, and it bounces away. And, you know, and I told the kids before the game, I said, there's 3 things I don't know. I don't know how the officials will be. I don't know how the ball's going to bounce, and I don't know what the weather's going to do. And, you know, I thought the officiating was fine. I didn't have any problems with it. You know, some of the kids thought that maybe Dylan was in on the goal line down there, but it was close. But the ball obviously bounced the wrong way when we're getting ready to recover a fumbled kickoff, and it squirts out, and their guy takes it all the way down the sideline. So those things just killed us. We felt like we played pretty well on defense all night, and hell, I think they only had 115 yards. Did a good job with that. I've
got all that here. Listen to this now. Northwest had 8 first downs. Anderson had 16. Northwest only had 115 yards total offense. We had more than double that.
Right.
And we didn't turn the ball over. They turned it over twice. We only committed 3 penalties. They committed 10. If you just looked at the stats, you think, well, gosh, we must have killed them. Just shows you how important it is, the special teams.
It does. Well, and our special teams were good, except for our kickoff team. I mean, we had a nice kickoff return. We punted. Our punt coverage was did very well. You know, we needed the old Pee-wee rule where you don't kick off and just place the ball in the 30. Because it's disheartening to lose a game like that. And you know, the kids played so hard and worked so hard for it, and we felt like, you know, going into it, that speed was the one concern, and you know, we couldn't match up with that, and we couldn't catch them, but we've got to cover things better and stay in our lanes better, and we got to kick the ball where we're supposed to kick it. And, you know, and we're a young team. We got a lot of young kids playing, and sometimes it takes a while to adjust to what varsity football is all about.
The second kickoff return, and if you haven't seen the game or you weren't at the game, it was a squib kick that was fumbled, looked like we were going to pick it up, and we're falling for a recovery, and Northwest picked the ball up and literally just ran right by us. They went 65 yards for a touchdown, and that was a killer after we'd gained the momentum back.
Yeah, I think it was 13-10 when that happened, and like we squibbed it, and he fumbled it. Cody Coffey was on top of it, and it kind of squirted out the side a little bit, and he was reaching back for it, and 2 of our guys were diving on it and came flying out the back, and their kid grabbed it, and he's the fastest kid in the city. And he ran like a 10.500 last year, and he goes down the sidelines. So it was just a freaky thing that happens, and you know, we've had our share of lucky things that have happened over the years, and all the time I've been at Anderson, this was obviously one of the unlucky things that happened.
You had to be pretty happy, though, overall with the way you guys played, and then your defense, I thought, was just played exceptionally well.
Yeah, I mean, they played really hard. I thought they pursued to the ball really well. A lot of white shirts running to the football all night long was good. Augie Murphy had a tremendous game. He really did. Cody Coffey had another great game. The linebacker position, I mean, we blew the one coverage early in the game. We felt like that ball should have been intercepted, and we didn't play it very well while it was in the air. But we tackled pretty well all night, and we contained them for the most part, and gave our offense field position. We had, I think, 2 turnovers. So, I mean, we really couldn't play a whole lot better on the defensive side. And special teams, like I said, except for you know, if you grade us, we got obviously an F- on the kickoff team, but otherwise we were okay. And then offensively, we did some good things. We weren't real consistent at times, and our offensive line struggled at times. But in the second half, we came out and we ran the ball a little bit and did some good things, and and really had pretty good field position most of the night, and got down in the red zone and didn't score that one time, and we had to settle for the field goal the other time. So and then we missed the field goal after we got stopped on the goal line. So all those things come into play, and we're 2 points short.
One of the ones he just talked about was almost the interception in the end zone, and we were at perfect view where we were up on the tower there, and I mean, it just barely missed his hand there. I mean, he almost tipped it or knocked it away, and it was just, it was a shame. I mean, again, there was another instance where you're almost right there.
Yeah, I mean, we would have stopped him probably down there, and on that possession after that first kickoff return that we gave up, which gave him good field position, and he just didn't judge the ball very well. And he's not used to playing back there at that deep safety position. He's more of, strong safety type up near the line of scrimmage. So, it's just disappointing.
You said Augie Murphy. I thought he played very well, like you said. And I thought Frankie Jones played well too. And two of those guys we heard about them last year. But Augie really, I mean, it was amazing how quick he was getting off the ball. Yeah,
Augie's really athletic. He's fast. I mean, he's one of the top 5 fastest guys on our team for a defensive lineman. That's really good. And they had pretty big splits all night, and he was able to, pinch and come through that inside gap and chase things down from behind. And his effort was just really good all night, and he just had a phenomenal game.
You guys had a good third quarter. You only held him to, I think, 6 yards total in that third quarter.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we came out and we had to move the ball, moved it back across the 50, got some field position, and I was concerned after the rain delay we had, about 40 minutes or so, and it didn't really affect us too much. Kids did all right with that, and they played hard and they fought till the end, and they should be proud of their efforts, but you still have to finish things and make plays when you have to.
You had we noticed a lot of underclassmen that you had playing in there. I thought they did pretty well. There's times when you can tell that there was their first varsity experience, and one of the guys that I kept watching was Dylan Browning, and I thought he did a pretty good job when he was in.
Dylan did do pretty well. Yeah, he on both sides of the ball played pretty well on defense, and decent on offense. He's only going to get better. He's a sophomore. She's got good bloodlines, being half a Norwell, but he's really coming on, and he's going to be a really, really nice lineman for us as this year progresses, and then for the next 2 years.
Will you see him probably go both ways? I mean, a lot.
Yeah, he's going to have to. We just don't have enough depth, and we'll have a lot of guys playing both ways. Josh Coleman, I thought, did a nice job playing both ways all night long on the offensive and defensive lines. And we had to sub some guys in. We played about 6 defensive linemen and probably about 7 offensive linemen, and we just have to do that.
Is that a collection of the coaches and everybody else? Do you notice guys maybe getting winded or something where you say, hey, we got to look at him, he might need to get out? How does that all work?
Yeah, we kind of watch that on the defensive side. And we didn't want to go sub them in every 2 plays and things like that, because then they waste more energy just running on and off the field. So you kind of do it by series, 5 or 6 plays at a time, where they can get a pretty good rest. And and some guys like Augie, they're not coming out, and he knows that.
Dylan Smith got his first start at quarterback. I thought he played really well. He didn't have a whole lot of time to pass.
Yeah.
And but you know what? He was 10 for 20 passing. He didn't have any turnovers. The team had no turnovers, and I thought he handled himself pretty well.
He did. He did have guys in his face all night. They eventually just lined up and played man-to-man and brought 5 every time, and our young offensive line struggled with some of that at times. Dylan, he's still working on his pocket presence and understanding where to go with the ball all the time. And he had a couple throws that he kind of tried to just kind of fit in a tight spot, and he's better off just throwing it away and living to fight another down instead of throwing an interception, which he didn't do, fortunately, but he was close a couple times. But yeah, I think for the first real varsity start, I'll take 50% and 10 for 20, and we'll just get better.
The touchdown pass late in the game, I thought was to Connor Wheeldon. It was to Justin Dornbach. But that was a good throw.
Yeah, it was. He put it right on the money to him. We ran a little double move on him, and Justin got behind him, and Dylan put the ball where he's supposed to. And so, we gave us a chance anyway. We couldn't get the onside kick to bounce the right way.
Austin Facito carried the ball 23 times, got 83 yards. Didn't have a lot of running room, but he had a really nice run early in the game, a 30-yard run.
Mm-hmm. Played really hard. I mean, there wasn't a lot there, but he didn't, dance around. He took what he had and it was really grinding out 3- and 4-yard runs for us. It's really a great effort by him, and unfortunately he got concussion late in the game and couldn't.
That's what I figured he did.
Couldn't continue to play. He hit his head on the turf really hard.
I remember when that happened. It was right in front of us.
Yeah,
he got slammed to the ground right in front of us.
Yeah. So is he obviously out for next week?
He's out for this week. Yeah, probably. I doubt the doctor clears him Friday. Feels fine now, but he's out.
But you got to you can't.
You can't mess around with that.
You can't mess with that anymore.
A.J. Penley had a couple nice runs on some reverses in the second half and really helped us get the momentum back. Had a couple of nice runs.
Yeah, he's a scrapper, and he just keeps hustling, and Coach Zabo keeps track of effort plays every week, and A.J.'s always in there with effort plays, whether it's his blocking or running his routes really hard. He did have a couple really nice runs, and it's a shame he didn't have the speed that some of their guys had, or he would have taken it all the way to the house. But still, he got probably 20-yard runs on each of those reverses, and that's what we got to have.
We were commenting during the game. I could not believe how many times Northwest went down with cramps.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing. You guys did not go down. Is it just because of the better condition, or is it just what is that?
I don't know. I mean, we condition our guys pretty hard, and we're not, we don't have a lot of big, real heavy guys. I mean, we're pretty lean, and they're used to running, and so, we were trying to be pretty smart about our substitutions and keeping our guys as fresh as we could. And, the weather really was much, much better than the year before when we played Mount Healthy, and it was just
brutally
hot. Brutal the whole game. When the rain came and cooled off, and it was then kind of raining the whole game. Really the cramps was never a problem for us.
Yeah, we talked about all night how nice it was with the kicking game that we had. That you had Ryan McClone coming in for his first game. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he missed a field goal, and that was a pretty big part of the game. But otherwise, besides that, I thought for his first varsity game too, kicking, he did a really good job.
Well, he made a field goal about 30 yards, 32,
it was like 32
like
yards.
Yeah, I mean, he made that field goal for us, and he just missed that one. And if it had been at a high school field, it was probably going to be good because the college uprights are narrower. Right. So just those little things, and it's a game of inches. It really is, and we didn't get those, that field goal and the kickoff we already talked about that bounced poorly for us. And I told Ryan, I said, you got to be ready to win this game 20-19.
Right.
Because it was just shaping up that way. And unfortunately, we didn't get that chance. But I would have had confidence of him going out there from 40, 45 yards and taking a shot at it.
Actually, that field goal was 37 yards.
Was it 37?
And it was coming right at us. And I tell you what, it cleared it by a long way. I mean, we were like, oh my gosh, that could have been good from another 5 or 10 yards away.
Well, he wants to kick in college, and he's worked really hard this summer with his kicking coach, and has done a good job with that. And he's just only going to get better and better. He's young too.
Well, you talked about your game plan, and you wanted to kick it on the kickoffs a little short or whatever. When things aren't going right during that, do you have to change with the weather, what's going on? How you guys try to stick to what's going on?
Yeah.
Is that something that you would necessarily change?
Well, I mean, we didn't kick it where we were supposed to the first time, and so we thought, well, okay, we talked to him, and he'd done it all week in practice, so we thought, well, we'll try it again, and still didn't work out so well for us. Right. They returned that second one. So the third one, then we just said, we'll squib it. And, he did a great job with that. And, you game plan it, and if it works in practice all week long, you have to assume it's going to work in the game. And sometimes it just, they're high school kids. And sometimes it's just not going to be the way you planned it. And you have to be able to make plays anyway. You
had the big drive right before the half. You missed the field goal, then you have the delay. You go in the locker room. How was the mood? Was everybody pretty? They
were disappointed. They were really disappointed. And I was disappointed as well. And we just tried to reiterate to them, guys, you're going to win the game. You just have to execute some things here. We're not out of this game at all.
Right.
There's a lot of ball game left. So just keep playing and believing in each other and helping each other, and they did that the second half, and it got pretty exciting.
I was really, really impressed with Dylan Smith. His kicks on punts that he had,
yeah, he
couple down, you hit in the corner. To me, I mean, the height he had on it, he looked like a Division I punter right there. I mean, I really did. I thought he was great.
We were directional punting too, as well, and punting away from him, and he did a great job of that. And we got the one break the one time it went out of bounds on the 1 yard line or something. Our kid said it all bounced in the end zone. We got a break. But, so like I said, it's a game of inches, and the referees, they're not perfect, and there's no replay, and I'm glad there's not. But he did a great job. Got great height on it.
He did.
We were able to go down and cover, and Dylan's, this is his third year punting for us because he was our punter as a freshman.
Yep.
And he's a good punter, and he's done a really good job with it.
Does it make your life a little bit easier when you have, you guys that, a punter that's been back for his third year, now you got Ryan that can, the decisions you can make now are we can kick a field goal instead of going for it every fourth down.
Right. A few years ago, we were at the point where we really didn't have a kicker for anything, and about 3 or 4 years ago, and now we're blessed with Ryan, and then AJ's a backup kicker, and he's not bad either. He just doesn't practice it as much and have quite as strong a leg as Ryan, but he could go out there and make a field goal and 25-yard field goal, or an extra point and 25-yard field goal if he had to. And then we've got another kid, Brogan Williams, who's in Dylan's class, and he's a decent punter as well. But so we're just lucky right now with special teams. As far as the kickers, we need to get more guys to play on there to be effective as far as covering kicks and things.
Austin Facito, you said is going to be out. Any other injuries from this game?
Unfortunately, Pete Martini broke his fibula, I think. And, he's having surgery, I believe, tomorrow, and I think it's going to be season-ending.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, Petey's a tough kid and really cares about Anderson football. He grew up with it with his older brother, Tony. Derek Mollenkamp's out still with his ankle, or his foot sprain. Harrison Hill was hurt in practice last week, so he's still out with his knee for a few more weeks, and so we're battling through some of that right now. But we got a couple guys back, Jack Mangan, who really, and Tony Tafano, who were out all last week and just played a couple of plays. They're both back this week. Hopefully Derek comes back in a week or so, and we'll start to get our health back.
Good. Players of the week.
Well, we had Augie Murphy on defense. I think he had like 7 or 8 tackles, about 3 or 4 tackles for a loss.
He was great.
But he was just a presence all over the field. Really caused them problems. And then offensively, it was Austin for his efforts, gaining 83 yards against a pretty good defense. And then Dylan for the way he punted the football really helped us win the field position battle.
Did the JV and freshman teams play this week?
JV did not play because we played on Saturday.
Okay.
Freshmen won 38-14. I think it was 31-0 when they started to sub, and Northewst came back and scored a couple. But they won fairly handily, so
well, good.
They got a good group.
I know they were real good last year in 8th grade. You've got a couple of really strong classes coming up through the ranks now. Yeah,
I mean, our sophomores won last year, and there's some linemen in there. I mean, it's always good to have linemen. And we're, with McCafferty and Dylan and Victor Horning, and there's 3 in that class, and there's some other guys that are going to come on in that class as well. And then the class behind them is really loaded with some big kids and some good linemen. So we're gonna be back to having a lot of good size here in the next couple of years.
Good deal. Let's talk about this week's game. This game 2 at home, first home game, and it's against McNicholas, who was our old rivals forever, way back in the day, and we haven't played them for a long time.
2001.
Is that the last
2002, actually, because 2001 was the last time we played them at Brown Stadium. So
when Cupido was quarterback?
I think Cupido was. Well, when we played, I think we played him at Marymount, because we played him at Brown Stadium, and we beat him 50-20 in 2001, and I think we had to go to Marymount for their home stadium because they didn't have a home stadium.
Yeah, that was Chris Norwell's senior year.
And it was really cold and windy and just
2002.
Yeah, I think it was 2002 was the last time we played them.
So what led to this? I mean, we get to play them again.
We've always tried to initiate the game because I felt like it's a good neighborhood rivalry,
sure.
And they're not that much smaller than us anymore, and they've got a good group coming through right now, and they actually called us to see if we wanted to play, and said sure, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't continue to play every year. I mean, it's going to go back and forth talent-wise and things like that. So I hope it's not just a couple of years while they have a good group going through and then they go find somebody else to play. I mean, I think the King of the Hill is a good thing. And especially since Turpin and us have to play every year. We're in the same league and that kind of thing. It'd be great if McNick would join back in on that, every year to bring that back, and that generates a lot of excitement in the community, and it's good financially. It's always a good gate. We went over and scouted them when they played Turpin. They had a great crowd over there, and they got beautiful facilities now, and they've got a nice team.
Yeah, they played very well. They played Turpin, as you said, this week, and I think they got off to like a 21-0 lead.
Yeah.
Ended up winning 21-7. But I know that they got one guy is really good in their running back, is Sean Byrne, and he's
he's
good.
Tough. He's a good player. He's strong, runs pretty well, and he's a good player. Yeah, and their offensive line's physical. They'll really come off. I think that'll be the biggest difference. Is we'll see a much improved offensive line over what we saw last week against Northwest. Northwest was still trying to find some kids, I think, to fill those spots, and so it's defensively it's a much tougher job this week. McNick's very multiple in their formations. Northwest can give us a lot of different things that we weren't expecting, and McNick gives you a lot of formations and runs a lot of things, and their quarterback can run as well. So, yeah, they're definitely a quality team.
Are they more like the spread?
Yeah, they're a spread team. They're in some pistol stuff and run the inside zone, some outside zone power stuff, and throw play action.
What about talk about their defense? What do they play defense?
They play a 3-4, play a lot of cover 2. If they bring a blitz, it'll be usually from the inside linebackers. They're really good tacklers, and just very fundamental defense, kind of a bend but don't break kind of style. They don't maybe come after you as hard as Northwest was coming after us, but they won't make mistakes that lead to big plays either. We'll have our work cut out for us, that's for sure.
Keys of the game, obviously, every week is turnovers, penalties, things like that. But when you play a rivalry game, trying to keep your emotions in check, I think, is a pretty big thing, too, for this game early on.
I think it is, although I don't know. Our kids know some of their kids, and I don't think it's as much, since we haven't played them for so long.
It's not as big.
They don't know them. I don't think it is as big. At least for our kids, it's not. They know a lot of their kids, obviously, but not as many of them, I think, as in years past. But yeah, I think it'll be a big rivalry game and be a big crowd, hopefully. And turnovers are always key, and we did a good job with that last week. And the special teams are always key, and we did not do a good job with that. So in one area, so we definitely have to improve that. I think the other thing is we just have to be patient enough on defense to and not try to force the action. I mean, they're going to get some yards and they're going to move the ball a little bit, but we have to make them drive it, and we have to be solid and be good tacklers and not give them anything easy. No big plays. They had a couple. They had a long run, against Turpin, and then their other score was an interception return, and then they had another one later on. But if we make them earn what they get, that's a big key. And I think offensively, we have to take what they give us. There'll be certain things that we can hopefully exploit. So we'll just have to see.
So I know you said Fasuda is going to be out. Who's going to take? Is Patrick Johnson?
Patrick Johnson, Jack Mangan, and Frankie Jones will be sharing the running back duties. And they're all tough kids, and they'll run hard.
Running back by committee, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, we got another big night again. As we said last week, we're going to be honoring Joe Miller, former Anderson football coach. He had a pretty good record. I think he was 57, 46, and 4, I believe, was his record. He had just at the time at Anderson, he kind of took over when things were kind of going downhill and just kind of made it pretty nice. And I know that we've talked to him on the phone, and he's very honored, and his family's very happy. And he got very emotional, and it's a thing that I think that is long overdue and to do something like this. And I know that he's very excited to come on Friday night, and especially that it's the Anderson McNick game.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it will. He was in a lot of those big games and tough games, and it'll be neat to see him there.
Yeah, and he might put something on Facebook about it, that we're having the game, the King of the Hill's back, and a lot of people were so excited that, they're coming to the game, not, him too is helping, but they were going to come. But now that Joe's being honored, a lot of people were responding, and they're going to be there Friday night. So it should be hopefully a pretty big crowd.
Good.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let's thank the folks up here at Anderson Community Television for letting us do these shows up here in the studio and for using their equipment and their air times. Speaking of air times, I don't have them written down here, but I know that one of the air times on TV is Friday nights at 11:30. Yep. So this show usually precedes the game. So if you're watching the show right now, stay tuned. The game's getting ready to come on. But and if you can't make it to a game live, we do the games live on USBNsports.com. So we always have a lot of folks from out of town listening to us in that manner. Grandparents, alumni, sisters, brothers, parents. If you know someone that can't make it and want to listen to it live, definitely USBNsports.com. And drop us an email, let us know that you're listening. I've had people I graduated with in 75 email us while we're doing games from Colorado and Florida, which is always really neat.
It's nice to have the Hall of Famer back there listening to us. He could hear us now and interact with us now. It was pretty big last week. So.
Yeah, John Raymond did a great job on the field last week, and we couldn't even see the scoreboard from where we were. Yeah. So John was keeping us posted on how much time was left. And that worked out perfect. Then John does a great job with that, as he does on Wednesday nights up here engineering this. So thanks to John. Thanks to Steve Martin, our stat man. And for Tim Huntington for doing the cameras as he does every week. So let's on Denise White, absolutely, for all her help. And it is a home game this week, so I'm not saying we're expecting a lot up there, but we'll see what happens in the way of food, Dan, right?
I'm ready.
So, Coach, good luck this week.
Thanks.
I guess McNick.
Thanks.
For Dan Albers and Jeff Giese, I'm Greg Ellis. Thanks for joining us on Redskin Radio.